Hi folks, hope you're all well. Doing this a little bit back to front today. I'm at Upper Tamar Lakes on the Devon and Cornwall border, and I've had a wonderful day's fishing. Normally I'll do the intro when I first get here, but it was raining this morning, so I've decided to do it now. Anyway, had a great day's fishing. You've got a cracking video to look forward to. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you at the end for the summary. See you soon. Morning folks, ground bait mix for today. Not the norm what people use on here, but one of the reasons I've come here is obviously to try out different things. So as you know, I use the premium bait peg number 1. So this is my mix today. It's a combination of 3 ground baits. I've put a full kilo of the peg number 1 bream skimmer mix. I've put a full kilo of the peg number 1 mayhem green mix, and I've put half a kilo of the black mix. It's not really wet at the moment. I've over wetted it and I've let it dry out. I've actually mixed this up nearly an hour ago now, and as you can see, binds really well, but then breaks down really well. So we'll give that a go today, see how we get on, guys. Right folks, so all set up now, ready to go. It's been a bit of a mammoth of a task because I haven't done a lot of this sort of fishing really during this year, so yeah, I've had to kind of start from scratch and get everything set up properly. But yeah, as you can see, there we are, there's my office for the day. So I'll not very good. Look at that big cormorant out there. I don't know if you can see that, guys. Right where I'm going to be fishing. Gobbling up my fish already. Oh well, never mind. At least I know some fish there. Well, there was. Anyway, yeah, so today I'm going to be fishing a very short line, literally a little underarm chuck. I'm trying to just get mainly roach on that line. If I can get some skimmers on that, then that's great. A little bit further than that, sort of between 18 and 22 meters, I'm going to sort of vary that. That's going to be roach and skimmer line, and then about 30 meters is a skimmer line. Very, very, very deep out there. Hopefully I can record it, show you the drop on there. It's a big drop when you go out on that 30-meter line. So anyway, rods for today. Yeah, a little bit of a change on my 30-meter line. I'm actually fishing, let me see that, guys, with the feeder light 12 foot, and that's the CTX rather than the high S. Reason I've gone for the CTX is the CTX has just got a little bit more backbone in it, and when you're casting sort of like 30 meters plus with a 40-gram loaded feeder, the feeder lights, the high S feeder lights, sorry, are just a little bit softer, and they are just not as accurate at the casting, so that's what I've gone for. Tip wise on that, I've got the glass tip, comes with 3 different tips, comes with a glass tip which is just an ounce, so a very soft tip. For my sort of 18 to 22 meter line, I've gone, you see that, guys, out, I've gone for the 11 foot feeder light. That's the high S version. And on there I've got a tip that I'm trying out. It's a new tip. It's called a wind beater tip, and what that is obviously it's a carbon tip, but it's only a 1/4 ounce tip, so it's very soft, but it's hollow. Because it's carbon, it stops if you've got a lot of wind, hence the wind beater. If you've got a lot of wind and you know, if you've got a glass tip, it could just be doing this all the time and you could be missing bites. So with the carbon, it just stops that bouncing from the wind, but it's so soft because it's hollow, and it's only a 1/4 ounce that you can see all the little bites. So I'm going to be trialing that today and giving that a go. Just on my underarm chuck, same again, just got the 11-foot feeder light, and on there I've got a 1/2 ounce glass tip, so just to see how we get on with that. So yeah, very, very soft tip on that. Anyway, reel wise, as you can see, all Daiwas on all 3 reels. I've got the new tournaments on 2 of the rods, and on that's my 20 to 18 to 22 metre line. I've got the Daiwa TDR. That's the 40-12, and these ones are called the tournaments of the 40-10s. So that's, yeah, my kind of setup. They're all 3 running rigs. I don't know if I'll show you this. Yeah, they're all 3 running rigs. You can see that there. So all with some couple of them I got one of them I saw I got shock leader on. The others I've just gone with a normal twizzle boom. I'm just gonna try things out, try and chop and change things. I've got a big array of different types of feeders, as you can see here, and I've got the window feeders in there as well. So bait tray, right, really interesting. A lot more stuff than what I normally carry. Obviously I've got some pinkies and some reds there live. I've got my dead reds here. I've got just over half a kilo of chopped worm there, which is quite important for here. I've got some casters, I've only got half a pint, not going to be putting a huge amount of those in. I've got some pellets which I've soaked, and they're really soft. I've sort of over soaked them just so they actually do definitely get down there and stay down there on the deck. I don't want them floating away. I've got some corn, good old corn, that's quite effective here. I have previously minced up the old corn and put that in with the feed, but I'm just going to put in whole grains in. Got me worms there, my dendrobinas to put on. That's going to be the main staple for the skimmers, and then obviously got me ground bait, which I've shown you what mix I've used for that. And as you can see, it looks quite dry, but actually this is, as you can see, look, it goes into a ball quite easy, and then that breaks down quite quick. But I have actually wetted that right up a couple of times and let that dry out, and then I've sieved it, so hopefully that should just get straight down to the deck. Just going to be using the same ground bait for my roach line as I am for my skimmer line, just purely because you know, you never know, these skimmers may come on that short roach line, which would be really good. So the idea really is just to catch as many fish as I can. I'm just going to sort of time myself on how long I'm fishing and how many fish I'm sort of catching in an hour, if I can keep count, hopefully. One thing I'm hoping to do today is I've actually brought a whip with me. I haven't got it set up yet because I want to get going on the old feeder lines and just see how I get on with that. But yeah, I'm going to be hopefully later on spend an hour or so on the whip, just giving it a bit of a go and just to see how it fishes. A lot of people fish the whip here and the pole, and they do really well. So like I say, I've got a match coming up. It's a pairs match on here fairly soon, in sort of about 4 or 5 weeks time. So yeah, I want to be giving it a go. Right, Mr. Cormorant's just flown off, so he's probably messed up the swim, but he was out on my long line, so I'm going to be starting on my short line, see how many fish I can sort of get on that, and then I'll move out onto my 20 metre line, and then I'll move out onto my 30 metre line, and then just alternate between the two, and just yeah, just keep plugging away, see how I get on. Right, I should come back to you. I'm not going to be filming a great deal of me fishing, but yeah, I will film a few bits. I'll try and film the drop on that longer line, because yeah, it's quite impressive how deep that is out there. So right, come back to you soon. Cheers guys. So I've been fishing for about half an hour now on this short line, and every single put out Hasn't resulted in a fish, which resulted in a good bite. Sometimes the bait's not even getting down to the bottom. So it's a little underarm chuck, it's just at the bottom. Slowly bring the rod back, tips moving, there you go, fish on. And that is one of the smallest roach I've caught actually. Getting some really good quality roach. Went for a little spell for about 5 minutes where I was getting perch. Just a little squeeze of ground bait. Sometimes I'm putting a couple of dead reds, sometimes putting a couple of casters in it, that's all. Nothing else. Little underarm chuck. It's just sinking. It's hit the bottom. Just bringing the rod back to tighten the line up. Got it on the rest now. And this is quite long, this particular one, to wait for a bite. Quite often before you even get the rod on the rod rest, it's gone round. There you go, fish on. It's a perch that time. So this is what happens, I think. The roach just move off a little bit, the perch come in, hence the reason why the bite took a little bit longer. The roach are there, you get quicker bites, I think. That maggot looks okay, so I'll leave that on there. Not going to put any feed in this time, just a little bit of pinch of ground bait in the feeder. Another little underarm chuck. Whoops. Try not to hook myself. There we go. Feeder's at the bottom there. And there you go, fish on. As quick as that. Definitely get the quicker bites from the roach. Maggot's still okay. Bring the feeder back. No feed, just a pinch of ground bait. Keep hooking myself. Hit the bottom, bring it back, fish on. Was it off? Oh no, it is a little one that time. There you go. Tamar Reservoir, it's unbelievable fishing, it's absolutely solid with fish. No feed again, just a little pinch of ground bait. As you can see, I'm using a tiny little 20 gram feeder and I'm not filling it up with ground bait, I'm just putting a little pinch inside the middle of it. A little underarm cast. Plop it out there, going down, tip's already moving, it's hit the bottom. Slowly bring it back. Fish on. And it's a perch that time. I don't mind being perch or roach, just as long as that tip just keeps going round. So, little pinch of dead reds this time. Squeeze a ground bait. Another little underarm cast. Tip's going round already. Hadn't even hit the bottom that time. Missed that one. But there you go. That's how you can amass a big weight. If you keep them fish going. I think the key is to just not put too much feed out there. It's a bit of ground bait in your feeder. Just get your head down, just keep plugging away. Bring that tip back. Tip's settled down. There you go. Another perch. So when you have to wait for the bites, it's normally a perch. But there you go. Short lining at Tamar Reservoir. Flipping amazing. Come back to you in a bit. So I've decided to have a go on me 20 metre line. I've had 2 casts. And 2 skimmers. It's a while to tighten up the line. It's deep. I didn't come off the short line because it went dead. I actually stayed on that short line long enough to know that just the slightly different feeding patterns. Perch would move in, then the roach would move in, and you could move a little bit left and a little bit right, and you'd find the roach had moved a little bit. It's typical. The tip was going round straight away the first 2 casts. As you can see, we've got a little bit of a breeze blowing into our face here. So a bit of a ripple on, which is always good. Oh, little touch then. Missed it. Yeah. Just fishing with a little worm head. So I get my Dendrobina. I'll just hook it in the top there. Just pinch that off. And that's it. That's all I'm fishing with. I will adjust the size of those as well. Won't fish with a head that big. Sometimes I'll fish it bigger. So I put a little bit of chopped worm in the feed at the minute. A couple of dead reds. And that's it. It's still falling. Still falling. Still falling. Just hit the bottom now. And that's only at in fact that's at 18 metres. I've not gone out to 20 yet. See it, line's tightened up. Getting knocks. You've got to wait for that proper bite. There's 2 skimmers that I caught on them for my first 2 casts, so actually quite good. Once again, this one feels all right as well. Bigger than what I remember from last time I was here, so they've actually grown on quite a bit. They were too big to swing in, unfortunately. Same with this one. There you go. So as predicted, it's still fishing really well up here. The worm's still okay. Not going to put any feed in this time, just going to put a pinch of ground bait in. On this 20 metre line, just going to get the slime off me line. On this 20 metre line, I've got, actually I'll show you before I cast out. Once again, still a very small feeder. It's a cage feeder, 3 holes. This time it's 35 gram. So Reason I go a bit heavier further you go out here is just purely because of the depth. So you can see, I'll cast it out again, hit my line clip, hit the, here we go, it's still sinking, still sinking, still sinking, still sinking, still sinking, still sinking, there it's hit the bottom. So if you fish obviously with a feeder that like a 20 gram feeder there, that's going to take longer to get to the bottom. And obviously we want to hit the bottom, we want to get them skimmers that are feeding on the bottom. So we want to get down there as quick as we can. Don't really want to go any heavier than a 35. You could get away with a 30 gram feeder. There's nothing stopping you fishing with a 20 gram feeder, but you just want to get it down there as quick as you can really. Little touch then. And there's no finesse here. I've got a size 12 hook on. This doesn't feel as big, whatever this is. It could be a roach or a perch. A stripey. There you go. But the tip's still going round. Fish still going in the net. And that worm's good to go again. So there we go. That's the 20 metre line. So don't think I'm going to need to get out on that 30 metre line, but we'll see. We'll see how long we can carry on catching skimmers for on this line. And yeah, I'll come back to you soon. Cheers, guys. Not sure what this is, but it's pulling back. Now I know that there's some big perch in Tamar. I've never had one. I've never caught a big bream that's pulled back as much as this in here before either, so I'm kind of hoping it's one of these big perch. No, a foul look to skimmer. Oh well. The big perch still eludes me. There you go, guys. Another skimmer. Definitely a much bigger size skimmer than what I was catching last year when I was here. Yeah, last year they were much smaller. Swing them in, I'm assuming, all depends what peg you're on, what sort of fish are out there. One thing I've noticed here, my line here is starting to get damaged. I've already had to go through a couple of hooks. The rocks out there are horrendous. So yeah, so you've got to have loads of hook lengths tied up, because yeah, 10 fish in, your hook length's knackered and you've got to change another one, so you need a lot of hook lengths tied up during a match, so you ain't got to mess around tying them up. Put a window feeder on now just to see if that's make a difference. Started getting more perch than I was skimmers, so I thought, right, I'll put a window feeder on just to see if that changes anything. And got a skimmer, but foul hooked. Anyway, we'll keep going. I'm going to have to change that hook length now. See if I can catch a couple more on it, and then I'll change it up. Come back to you soon, guys. Well, I've been getting a really good run of skimmers at the moment. I'm just just it's funny, I'm alternating the feed pattern because I'm fishing with corn at the moment. So I was finding that I was picking up too many roach and perch on this line, and I've stayed on the window feeder. What I've been doing is just alternating what type of feed I put in it. Sometimes I don't put anything in it at all. The window feeder there, single bit of corn on the hook. Yeah, sometimes I'm not even putting anything in it, just putting it out there. And you're really just kind of watching what the bites are like. If the bites start getting a lot finicky, then I'll tighten. That isn't even at the bottom. There's a roach on there. This place is just so solid with fish. It's unreal. It's actually the first time that's happened on a piece of corn. Yeah, unreal for fish. But yeah, fine. If I'm getting finicky bites, then I'll change the feeding pattern up. Sometimes I put worm in. Sometimes I put a bit of corn in, sometimes I'm putting dead reds in, sometimes a mixture of everything, sometimes I'm just putting the micros in there, and it's funny, you can't just keep doing the same thing. This is what I found, you have to keep changing it up, and it doesn't really seem to matter too much on the changes that you make, as long as you're making these changes. It seems to keep the better bites coming, which is good. So this is still my 18 metre line. I've not had to chase out any further for the skimmers. Just sort me landing that out. There we go. I've just had to watch my feeding patterns, that's all. And I just found by putting a piece of corn on, could sit there and wait for the better bite, getting lots of touches, but then you just wait for that better bite, and that tends to be a skimmer. I'm getting touches now on the tip. There's fish down there. Lots of touches. Nothing I want to hit. I'm waiting for that better bend round. This is that wind beater tip I've got on, and it's flipping brilliant, I've got to admit. The wind's died right down at the moment, hence the reason why I put the camera on, but there you go, better bite. Funnily enough, it doesn't feel like a skimmer, or if it does, it's one of the smaller stamp, or it could be a big roach. That's the smallest skimmer. Probably the smallest skimmer I've had. It's the first one I've been able to lift out without landing it. There you go. And that's the sort of size I was used to when I fished here before, but everything I've been catching's been, you know, better quality. I'm just maybe lucky. So I'm just going to change it up now. I'm actually not going to put any feed in that feeder at all. Just going to put a single piece of corn on. Pop it out there. Wait for that to sink down. But yeah, this, sorry, going back to this wind beater tip I've got. Like I say, it's a hollow tip, it's carbon, but it's only 1/4 of an ounce tip. It's very sensitive, but the wind was blowing quite hard earlier on, and if I'd have had a glass tip on, that would have just been moving all the time. Whereas because it's a carbon tip, it's just got a little bit of stiffness in it to stop that happening, but it's so sensitive, it's showing me everything. You've got to understand I'm fishing with braid as well, so that picks up every indication. But when you're fishing in a place like this where it's just solid with fish, you've got to really be able to tell the knocks and the liners from the proper bites, and you've got to have the right tip, the right braid, the right length shock leader, fishing with only a very short shock leader. It's less than a metre. And you get that set up right, you can really tell what bites are what. Like I say, I can tell the difference between a perch bite, a roach bite, and a skimmer bite. I think I believe I've hooked into one of them big perches well earlier on when I was fishing with worm, and it just broke me up straight away. Either that or it was a carp. So now I'm getting lots of touches. Just wait for that positive bite like that. There we go. And another skimmer. To wait a little bit longer that time, so maybe I'll put some feed in it next time. Yep. Slightly smaller one again, I probably could have swung that one in. But it's still a desired fish. There we go, I'm going to keep going. Massing quite a good weight now with these skimmers. Not quite as quick as fishing for the roach. Because they've been good quality, I've stuck on it. It's going to give me a better weight. Right, I'll come back to you a bit later. Cheers, guys. Well, I'm still getting skimmers, guys. I've actually had something I don't have, obviously, when I'm fishing a match, and that's a bit of a lunch break. Yeah, the sun's come out, which I thought was going to make it difficult with the skimmers, and it has made them a little bit finicky. But anyway, I needed to top my ground bait up, and yeah, thought I'd have a bit of a lunch as well because I've had nothing to eat yet. And yeah, just gave it half an hour without any bait going in, and didn't know how that was going to affect it. Obviously, when you're fishing a match, you don't really want to be doing that because then the fish will drift onto someone else. So yeah, I just chucked that out there. That was my first cast, and it's gone round, and I caught a skimmer. So still changing up the feeding patterns. I'm still on the window feeder. I was tempted to go back to a cage feeder a little while ago. But I've had my break now, so but I've gone back on the window feeder. This is still on that 18 metre line. Haven't had to go any further out chasing the fish yet. Had to move a little bit left sometimes and a little bit right to get the better bites. Nothing major, but tip's moving already. This place is unreal for fish. It's absolutely solid for fish. But just got to wait for that proper skimmer bite. I wasn't sure if, oh, core nearly went then. That one nearly caught me out. There we go. Yeah, I wasn't sure when I come back if they'd actually, the skimmers would have disappeared, but as you can see, they're still there. Obviously the sun's come out. It's still got quite a bit of cloud in the sky, but the sun has come out. But normally it's the skimmer fishing off. But there's a real colour to this water, and there you go. And it is very deep, so I'm kind of hoping that the sun isn't going to affect it too much. Like I say, yeah, it's going back in again now. So there are big clouds coming over as well. So it's, yeah, it's forecast to be sort of cloudy all day. Anyway, I'm going to plug on, see how many more I can catch in another hour, and then decide what to do after that. Come back to you soon. Cheers. There's my first fish on the whip. Something I've not done up here before. A double maggot on then. Just see how it's getting on. Can try casting now. A little bit awkward because the wind's right in my face, it's quite strong. Oh, look at that. Right straight away. Getting the perch on the caster as well. There you go. Still, nice to see the float go under. A method I've not tried up here before. Okay, crack on, see what I can catch. Come back to you in a bit. As you can see, back on the corn again, of all things, seems to be producing the better roach on the whip. I was getting a fishy chuck on the maggot, getting a fishy chuck on the caster. They weren't really good quality. So I decided to put a bit of corn on just to see, and yeah, it just seems to be producing a better quality roach, which is good. Here we are. Nice roach. Well, I ain't going to be going for much longer. I've had a really good day. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Caught really well on my 18 metre line with skimmers. Done good on my short line this morning as well for some roach and perch. But nothing like my 18 metre line, that was really good. Had a little go out on my 30 metre line. And yeah, managed to catch a couple of skimmers out there, but it was quite slow. Oh, even the perch like the corn, which is good. Yeah, that was a bit slow, but I hadn't fed that line. I just wanted to give it a go. I wanted to try the new CTX feeder light, new to me anyway. And yeah, with a 40 gram feeder on it, fully loaded up. It's no problem casting it out at all. Very, very comfortable, very, very accurate. Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed using it. But because I didn't feed that line, it's a sort of line at that distance really, you need to put a little bit of feed out there. So I had to have about 4 or 5 casts before I got a bite, and then I got 2 bites on the trot, both of them skimmers. And then I thought I'd give the whip a go, something I've never done up here before. And as you can see, it's producing fish as well, and it is a method that I don't use a great deal, but I do really enjoy doing it. So, and it's yeah, on its day it can be absolutely deadly. It can just be a lot quicker than obviously keep putting a feeder out there. Just got to keep that bait going out. You can see I'm putting little balls of ground bait. Just keeps them roach interested. I've actually got some caster mixed in with the ground bait as well. Most of the fish are actually taking the corn on the way down, even though I've actually got it I've actually got all my bulk down the bottom end, at the hook end, just to try and get it through the water column fairly quickly. More often than not, a lot of the bites like that one, they're on the way down. But you have to have your bulk shot down the bottom, otherwise you just won't see the bites. You'll be messing about with it up in the water and you won't even get a bite, you won't even know. But there we are. So I'll go for a little bit longer, and then I'll attempt to film the fish that I've caught somehow or another. I don't know, I'm going to do that on my own, but I'll give it a go. So I'll come back to you a bit later. Cheers. Well guys, really awkward here, but I don't know if you can see them. I can't even lift my net out, it's that heavy. God, there we are. Oh, absolutely tons and tons and tons and tons of fish in there. Caught over 200 fish. Really good stamp skimmers. I hope you can see this, guys. Hi guys, that's it, all over and done with. What a awesome venue. Yeah, I come here last year, September time, and absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it. I've not been back since. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. It's such a long way. It took me about 7 hours to drive down here yesterday. It's normally about 5-6 hours, but the traffic was horrendous. Time of year, the kids on holiday, and so on and so forth. Anyway, as you can see, I've had a great day's fishing. Ended up with, well, on the short line this morning, just over 40 roach. I think it was 26, 27 perch, not sure. Then I went on that middle line, 18 metre line,
and that absolutely lit up. That was awesome. That fished really, really well for the skimmers. Once I got them skimmers going, I just had to keep alternating between different types of feed that I was putting in my feed. I went over to a window feeder as well, which really helped. And I got into a really good stamp of skimmers. Nearly every one I had to net, so they were sort of averaging between, well, smallest was say just under half a pound, I suppose, but I had loads around about the pound mark, loads and loads and loads. I had just over 70 skimmers, and I would estimate probably for about £60 for the skimmers. And then, as you can see, I went over onto the whip, which is unusual for me, so rather than fishing the feed all the time, I thought I'd give it a go. And I had just over 20 roach on that, so yeah, and they're really good quality roach, as you could see. So there wasn't many that I caught that were small. Yeah, don't know what I had weight wise, but it was a lot, you know. It was I don't know, 70, 80, I don't know. It was heavy to lift up. I know that the net very, very heavy, could really just about get it up out of water. So wonderful day's fishing. Hope you've enjoyed the video. I've certainly enjoyed making it. It was cracking. Can't wait to come back here. You know, I've got a festival here soon in September, so yeah, can't wait to get back here then. Anyway guys, I'm absolutely knackered. I'm going to go and get back to my B&B now and have something to eat and have a good night's kip. So hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please subscribe if you can do. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you subscribe, you won't miss any of my videos, and it'll give you a notification, so that's why it's a benefit for you guys to subscribe. So anyway guys, hope to see you in swim soon. Take care. Bye bye.